Number 6, we must factor this trinomial down into the product of two binomials. What do? There's a number in front of the n squared. We haven't dealt with that before. Well, what we're going to do is we're going to do a method called busting B, where we take this B piece, which is right here. That's your B piece, right in front of the n squared's A, number at the end C. We're going to bust this B into two different pieces. We're going to separate negative 3n into two pieces that added together give us a negative 3n. How do we do that? Well, we're going to start with multiplying the A times C value. 5 times negative 2 is negative 10. We now do it just like we normally used to do problems when we had trinomials and didn't have technically the A value was a 1. What multiplies together to give us 10? 1 and 10, 2 and 5. Now, since it's negative, one of them is negative, one is positive. We needed to create a negative 3. Who can do that? These two together can create a negative 3 if one of them is negative and one's positive. Which one has to be negative? Well, that would be the 5, and the 2 would have to be positive because a negative 5 and a positive 2 put together is negative 3. And multiplied gives me the negative 10. So we're going to separate it into a plus 2 and a minus 5. Now, when I do this, it's always wise, if you have one negative and one positive, to put the negative first and the positive second. It's going to save you some problems. I'll explain in class, but for right now, for the video, just always put the negative first and the positive piece second. So notice I busted this B piece, the negative 3n, into a negative 5n plus 2n, which is the same as a negative 3n, so I haven't changed the problem. I bring my 5n squared down. I bring my minus 2 down. I've simply rewritten the problem. It's still the same, but here's what I'm now going to do. I'm going to group these together and group these together. This is going to be called factor by grouping. So we group the front two, we group the back two. Now we factor out what can be factored out of this 5n squared minus 5n. Both of them have a 5 and both of them have an n. And then I say, okay, 5n times what gives me a 5n squared? An n, because 5n times n is 5n squared. 5n times what gives you minus 5n? A minus 1. Okay, not too bad. Plus now I look at the 2n minus 2. What is the greatest common factor of 2n and a minus 2? A 2. I can factor a 2 out. 2 times what gives you 2n? An n. And 2 times what gives you a minus 2? A minus 1. Notice that with both these, we have factored out sort of this n minus 1. So we're going to bring it out front and factor it out, n minus 1. And then this is simply going to be the two pieces right here, 5n plus 2. And n minus 1 times a 5n plus 2 is the factoring of the 5n squared minus 3n minus 2. You can check it, multiply it through. You're going to see that I'm correct. That is how we use the busting B method to factor this down when we have a value in front that is not a 1.